Welcome to For Good Measure, an interview series celebrating diverse composers and other creative artists, sponsored by a grant from the California Arts Council. I'm Nanette McGuinness, Artistic Executive Director of Ensemble for these times. In this week's episode, we continue our conversation with Rajna Swaminathan, who we spoke to in January 2024. You're a classical composer, you're a pianist, you're a vocalist, and you're a mridangam artist. Now, first, did I pronounce that right?
Mridangam, yeah.
Mridangam, okay. So first, for our audience members who don't know that instrument, could you tell us about it and what tradition it comes from? Also, I noticed it's spelled a number of ways, and I'm assuming that has to do with transcription practices or transliteration practices, I should say. Is there an official version, or does it just really vary?
It varies. I think, probably if there is a more common way of spelling it is MRI. And my teacher just spelled it MRU because it's actually the vowel is sort of between an I and a U. It's mrit. So you could kind of think of it as a U, or you can think of it as an I. And actually in Tamil, which is the language I grew up speaking, like the kind of official way of writing it is mirudangam. So it's there's a U there, there's an I there, so it could be either. But it's actually in Sanskrit it means clay body. Mrit is clay, and angam is body.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's almost a schwa sound, but it's got a little bit. I can hear why he wanted to put a U instead of an I. If I had to transliterate it, I think I would put it or transcribe what I'm hearing. I think I would do that
Yeah,
also.
yeah,
But the American schwa covers a lot of sins.
yeah.
Yeah. Can you tell us about the tradition it comes from and about the instrument and how it works and so forth?
Sure. It's, there's a number of instruments, percussion instruments in India that are, I should say in South Asia really, that are tuned to a kind of harmonic pitch, including the tabla, which a lot of people are familiar with, but there's pakawaj, there's a number of instruments, including some folk instruments in India that also have a kind of similar construction.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and so to me, I see it as part of this larger percussion family, even though it does come from this very particular tradition in the way that I learned it, which is Carnatic music, which is the South Indian classical form of music. And, it's also used as an accompaniment for dance in Bharatanatyam and other South Indian dance forms, Kuchipudi. Um, it's used in that context as well. And it's, this double-headed barrel-shaped drum, where one side is tuned. It's mostly made of cowhide and some goat hide. There's kind of two layers
Hmm.
on the higher end of it that's tunable, and then the low end we traditionally tune with this kind of cream of wheat paste, although a lot of people have switched that out for something more convenient. In fact, some have adapted the instrument to be built from out of metal with these nuts and bolts. But I'm kind of I keep playing the traditional kind of version of it with the leather straps and using the cream of wheat paste. There's something about the ritual of it that uh, is sort of a way of kind of priming yourself before a performance that I enjoy. So you have to mix the cream of wheat. It's like a semolina
Mm-hmm.
powder with water, and it makes this paste. And you tune the lower end of the drum with water throughout the performance, so it keeps it malleable, but it's this keeping this very bass sound
That's
go.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I grew up eating cream of wheat.
Yeah. Well, I joke about it a lot because there's a lot of food on the instrument. Even on the right side, the higher end, I should say, is what we call a black patch, which is a kind of circular patch that you see, and it's made out of. A lot of people think it's just stone or something, and that's what it looks like, but it's actually made out of cooked rice that's made into a paste, and they mix it with this iron manganese ore powder, which is like a black powder. And then they apply this paste in concentric circles, and after every couple layers, they let it dry in the sun, the artisans who make this. And so it's made out of rice. So there's rice, there's cream of wheat.
A
Um,
foodie instrument.
yeah, it's very
Okay,
food.
Now, the next thing is, do you ever have problems with ants?
I haven't. I haven't. I mean, I usually store the drum like covered in a couple of layers, but I haven't actually. It's funny. I have more of a problem with like people's pets sometimes come and they like,
Just want to lick the.
yeah, they're very curious about it. I think the smells, so I've had dogs, I've had like cats coming up to it and being very curious and have to kind of keep it away from them more than anything else. Yeah, I haven't actually so far.
That's really
Knock on
funny.
wood, I haven't had a problem with ants yet.
I grew up in Houston. I live in the Bay Area. Ants are endemic. And, the
Right.
first thing that comes to mind is, oh no, there's a trail going to the instrument.
Well, for one thing, we remove the cream of wheat every time. So
Right.
it's not permanently on there. And I think the rice, because it's so mixed in with the iron manganese, it's
That acts as the iron manganese. Yeah.
they're probably not even gonna sense that there's any rice in there. So no, it's a good question. Yeah.
Thank you for listening to For Good Measure, and a special thank you to our guest, Rajna Swaminathan, for joining us today. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to our podcast by clicking on the subscribe button and support us by sharing it with your friends, posting about it on social media, and leaving us a rating and a review. To learn more about E4TT, our concert season online and in the Bay Area, or to make a tax-deductible donation, please visit us at e4tt.org. This podcast is made possible in part by a grant from the California Arts Council and generous donors like you. For Good Measure is produced by Nanette McGuinness and Ensemble for These Times and designed by Brennan Stokes, with special thanks to co-producer and audio engineer Stephanie M. Neumann. Remember to keep supporting equity in the arts and tune in next week for Good Measure.